Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with Mochi and we are doing a video in collaboration with Eeyore on impulse buys. And it is a topic that I feel half and half on. I feel like it can go both ways, which is what we're going to talk about. So if you want to stay tuned, just keep watching. Okay, so impulse buying is when you make a purchase that you were not planning on making. It was just kind of a spur of the moment. And in the pet community, that can go both ways. It can either have very positive outcomes or it can have really negative outcomes. It all depends on what you know, the knowledge you have, and how prepared you are for this impulse buy. Doesn't really mean you're going to be super prepared because you didn't know that you were going to get it, but you can be somewhat prepared depending on the animal that you're getting. I do not have an impulse buy out right now. I just have Mochi, but Ivy, my other ball python, she was an impulse buy. I went to a reptile show and I was like, you know what? I want another ball python. And I was not going there to get an animal. I just saw her and I was like, I'm just gonna get her now. And luckily, since I already had one before, I was very confident in my knowledge with them. I knew what I was doing. I knew that I had extra supplies at home. And all I did was get her, bring her home, got her set up, and she was good. I now like to prepare a lot more beforehand. I like to get their enclosure set up first. But as stated, as an impulse buy, you don't know you're going to be buying one. But she was settled in really fast, really nicely. And that's kind of an example of a good impulse buy, because I knew what I was doing. I was not getting an animal I have no experience with. I have done so much research on ball pythons, it just couldn't really go bad from there. Then we get into the examples of bad impulse buys. When you make an impulse buy for an animal that you know nothing about, no research was done, you just want to get one because it's the spur of the moment, you're like, oh yes, I can do this, I can do this. It can end really badly. You're going to be really stressed. Your animal's going to be stressed, your animal can get sick, your animal can die, you might have to even rehome it because you just realize this is not for me, I don't know what I got myself into. That happens way more than it should, but I mean, I'm sure everyone's guilty of at least one impulse buy, and it might have gone wrong, it might not have been, but we're all guilty of it. It's something we all do. It's just like, oh, I'm here now, so I'm going to get one now. But I once had an impulse buy with Slinky, and I was not even planning on getting one. I didn't even tell my dad I was thinking of getting one. I was like, I'm not getting anything. I'm just going to look. And then my boyfriend saw Slinky and he was like, I want him now. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And we got him. And luckily for me, I did a little bit of research on king snakes. So I knew their temperatures, their husbandry in general. I knew it. Because I was going to get a king snake or a corn snake instead of a ball python for my first snake. I just chose not to, so I did have some of that stored in my brain. But for some reason, we decided to listen to the Expo seller, and we got a critter crate for him and a heat lamp. And they said that this would be perfect for the next few months, and we believed it. The critter crate was about this big. Yeah, and it melted very fast, about an hour. With him in it, it melted and it smelled awful, and then I had to go out and buy a tank and a whole bunch of other supplies for a tank because I decided to listen to the Expo, which was a scam. So they ripped me off, and that was my only bad experience with impulse buys. It could have been a lot worse, but it just goes to show if you do impulse buys, you're not going to be prepared and you're not going to have a setup beforehand, and that can end really badly because I decided to listen to the Expo and get a critter crate, and it was not good. I know a few people as well who have made impulse buys without doing any research at all, and they were just like, I want a snake, and they got a snake, and it ended up dying in a few months, and that's just an example of how bad it can get if you do something that you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You can kill an animal, it could get sick, and as I said, you might have to rehome it, and that's not fun for you or the animal because you are at fault. You bought an animal without knowing what you were getting yourself into, and that's wrong. You shouldn't do it, but it happens all the time, and there's really nothing anyone can do about it but kind of sit there and be like, don't do that again. don't do it again, please. I personally have nothing against impulse buys. I have no regrets on any of the ones that I've made. I only have 2 impulse buys, all the others were planned. But in general, I feel like a lot of people in the community should have more sense, that they like know what they're getting themselves into. And the ones who don't, they're kind of like new keepers and it should be avoided. I mean, there's really just no way to avoid it. Everyone's going to do whatever they want. If they want a reptile, they're going to get that reptile. And no, I'm not okay when you don't do your research and don't know, but there are cases where impulse buys are 100% okay if you know what you're doing and know what you're getting yourself into. Like, for example, my ball pythons, I knew what I was getting myself into. I just wasn't planning on getting one, didn't decided to last minute. So to sum up this video, basically, if you're gonna make an impulse buy, make sure it's an animal that you know about already. Do not go and get an iguana at a reptile show because they're cute. They're small. Iguanas get to be huge and they need an 8 to 10 foot enclosure. Just make sure you know stuff like that before you make an impulse buy, because it's going to save you a lot of stress, money, and it's going to save the animal in the long run, because you can severely hurt an animal due to impulse buys if it is done with negligence. Isn't that right, Mochi? That's right. We are done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was a little bit boring, but I just wanted to get a video out there, and this video was in collaboration with Eeyore, so her socials are going to be linked below. Her video is a lot more fun and interesting than mine, so make sure you go check it out, and please subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you want. Me and Mochi are now done here, so thank you so much for watching.